Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Stage Etiquette workshop. My name is Wesley, and I'm the school manager and one of the piano teachers at WePlay Music. Thank you for joining us. Before we begin, I recommend positioning yourself near your piano or with your instrument in hand to practice bowing later in this workshop. I did want to let everyone know that this presentation will include some important points for not only students, but for parents and other attendees as well. So without further ado, let's get started. First of all, let's go over all of our goals for today's workshop. First, we have a question that we'd like to throw out there. What is stage/concert etiquette? Second, we have a checklist for an audience member's perspective. Third, a performer's checklist. After that, we have a health and safety slide, and then we'll talk a little bit about attire, followed by information about bowing, not bowing for you string players out there. Lastly, we'll have some volunteers show off their bow, as well as, if they'd like, a little bit of their piece. So the first question for everyone is, what is stage/concert etiquette? Now, this quoted explanation is something that I felt answered the question really well. Concert etiquette refers to a set of social norms observed by those attending musical performances. These norms vary depending upon the type of music performance and can be stringent or informal. As it says there, concert etiquette has evolved, changed, and will continue to change with the development of more music and evolution in cultural norms. What we do in a classical setting is completely different than a jazz or rock and roll setting. In regards to WePlay, we generally follow a classical music etiquette approach. We want to make sure that the focus is on the student performer and their pieces. Clapping is reserved for before and end of a student's performance. If there are more than one piece, then save the applause until the whole performance is complete. Electronic devices are silenced or turned off, and avoid eating snacks or drinks during performances. Definitely avoid candy wrappers. Those are loud. Alrighty. Now this checklist is for all audience members, which is pretty much everyone that isn't on stage at a given point. So students that are performing are audience members as well while they're not on stage. Let's go down through the list. Refrain from talking. No candy wrappers. I feel like I have to stress this because there's always a candy wrapper person in every recital. Turn off all electronic devices. No flash photography. And only take pictures of your child. Make sure to watch the whole recital session. Applaud at the appropriate time, and don't stand and leave the hall while a student is performing. Wait until they finish performing. It's very disheartening from a student's standpoint when they see someone stand and leave while they're playing, so please don't do that. Wait until they're done. Now here we have a performer's checklist. This is for all the students that are performing. Just a little checklist in order to make sure that you're ready to get on stage. Make sure you're dressed appropriately. WePlay students are expected to dress in school-related colors such as white, purple, blue, pink. If you don't have any of these colors for some reason, then please revert to the universal color, black. We'll go more into attire later on in the slides. Warm up and get ready before your turn. This could be as simple as taking a couple deep breaths, striking a power pose, and also looking over your music. A power pose is pretty much a pose that exudes confidence. So this is, for example, stretching your hands out open in kind of like a Y position. There's different habits that make you comfortable and settle down, so please tune into those. I personally sometimes just look over my music, take a couple deep breaths. I even do math problems also. Make sure all your materials are ready, including your books, score, and your instrument. If you don't have it memorized, make sure you have it marked in your books so you're ready to go. You don't need anything to worry about there. Also, make sure to bow before and after your performance. We'll go over more about that later in this presentation. Now, before we get to the attire slide, we do want to talk about our COVID plans for this recital. As you know, we take the health and safety of students and parents as a high priority at this school. Similar to how we take precautions in our school, our recital will also follow guidelines to ensure the health and safety of all of our students and families. All attendees are encouraged to wear masks. We will have hand sanitizing stations at the entrance as well as leading up to the stage, and students will have to sanitize their hands before going to perform and after finished performing. We have staff who will assist with making sure each student sanitizes properly. When on stage, students can perform without their mask, but will have to put it back on when done performing. If you prefer your child wear a mask at all times, please consider getting a mask that matches their attire, so it also goes into their fashion choice. And with that, that's a good segue into talking about our attire guidelines. As mentioned earlier, school colors, blue, purple, pink, or white. And in the case that you don't have one of these colors, then black would be the default choice. As you can see here in the picture on to the left, we have some examples of past recitals and students' attires. Some other guidelines are no sports clothes and jerseys, no shorts, no jeans, especially ripped ones, avoid tennis shoes or sneakers, and at the end of the day, just remember these words to know what to do. Dress to impress. So if you have a question about your fashion or your choice of clothes for the recital, just think of those three words, dress to impress. Now we go into bowing. Bowing is a form of non-verbal communication that's existed pretty much for a very long time, to say the least. In music, we bow before and after a performance to show respect and appreciation for the presence and time of the audience and also for their applause. Over the centuries, bowing has taken many forms, and there are now so many various methods of bowing. However, many of these forms all have similarities which should be observed. For example, the feet should be close together and no further than shoulder width apart. We bow from the hips, and we don't go lower than 45 degrees or 90 degrees. An example of this would be the martial arts instructor on to the left here in the picture, as well as these students and performers on the stage with the red backdrop. For 45 degrees, we have an example of a bow in the top left. Also, the whole bow should take 3 to 5 seconds. Don't rush it, don't pigeon it, and also, when you bow, don't stare at the audience. Let your head follow your bow all the way through, whether you do 45 degrees or up to 90 degrees. But please don't look at the audience. Alrighty, now it's your turn to take a bow. Please keep in mind that these are the guidelines. Feet close together, bow from the hips, don't go lower than 45 or 90 degrees, and the whole bow should take 3 to 5 seconds. Don't rush it, don't pigeon it, and also don't stare at the audience. Please take this time to bow a little bit. Practice your bowing. Make sure you bow from the hips. Keep your back straight when you go through with it. Let's try that for a couple seconds here. Alrighty, it's as simple as that. Alrighty, thank you for bowing. Now before our recital this Sunday, make sure to double check the information we went over on this workshop and go through the checklist for performers and audience members so that you're completely aware of what you have to keep in mind when you're at the event. As of this video, we've released a blog that's accessible through that link on this slide. If you don't follow our blog, I definitely recommend it, as we do cover a lot of topics that are good reads on your Sunday routine. So I believe that's it for today. We look forward to seeing you all on Sunday, December 12th for our winter recital. We'll be sending out more information on Monday or Tuesday regarding the recital, so please make sure to check your emails. If we somehow manage to fall in spam, please make sure to make the necessary email setting changes so that you're always kept up to date about everything that's going on at WePlay. Our next scheduled workshop is on December 19th and will be about carols. As a note, before you go, the next slide will contain the sources for this video, and in particular will contain links to the videos that we watched during the workshop that we can't record due to copyright, as they are YouTube videos. Please take a look at these videos, they were fun to watch. One in particular is the 21 Essential Recital Bows, which is a pretty funny watch. If ever you have any questions, as always, please feel free to contact us at info@weplaymusic.com or our phone number at 949-396-6907. Thank you.